happening with you? And we are live with another episode of Brownish. You guys know my co-host, the hilarious, the beautiful Sasha Merci.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have to make a confession. I have not watched the Tina documentary. Everyone's talking about it. I just have not gotten into it yet.
I gotta go. This
I
is not
no no.
gonna work out.
I know. I gotta get on it. You've talked about it, and now I'm hearing other people talk about it, and I'm like, I gotta do it, but I just haven't had.
It's such a great documentary.
I know. You were pumped. You were pumped, and I said I was gonna.
I was so pumped. Yeah,
You know what I did do though. I got to see a sneak peek of In the Heights.
you
That's
did.
why I did. I did.
It's
So
great, huh?
it's amazing. It's amazing, and
Putting the heights on the map.
I'm usually one to not like musicals,
Hmm.
and I did because I just don't like the whole just breaking out the song mid convo. Like that's not my
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But they do such a great job. I'm excited for everyone to see this movie.
yeah. I'm excited too. Dímelo, Rick. Que lo que? Yeah, no, I'm excited for people to see it too. I mean, I think that Lin Manuel he knew like his direction and how he wanted to get things done because
Mhm.
when I first saw Hamilton, I was just like, yo, how the heck was he able to just, put rap in a musical? Like
Right.
people were rapping, people were like, I'm like, yo, this is the next level shit. And white people ate it up.
Yeah.
White people had that shit for breakfast. White people was like, what is this?
I
What
need a giant bowl of this.
what is this? And they fucking I remember the tickets were $600. And that was the
By
cheapest.
the way, does that not give you the strength to go in and pitch whatever you want to pitch? Because you realize, like, if you pitch that, like, when you go pitch a project, you're like, yo, this is what I'm doing. This is the story, and we always feel nervous to pitch our story. Like that story, like, listen, it's about Alexander Hamilton. Okay, okay. It's all people of color. Okay, they're rapping.
Mhm.
Hold on, like the people across the desk were like, hold on, wait, what? Say that again. So I don't like. I feel like that gives me strength to go pitch and not feel not confident about what I'm pitching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
And
that's so out there, and it worked. Like what I'm pitching, you should work.
you know what about that specific thing that I realized that he did amazing was he had the story of Hamilton, but he
Mm,
made it so relatable across all the board because he made it about an immigrant that came
right,
to America and was one of the founding fathers.
right,
So it was just like it was the way that he was able to be like, oh, this is our story. We can really we can make this our story and have white people be like, oh, I get it. Oh, I kind of get it now. You know what I mean?
right,
So it was. I just love the way he did his own rendition of it because obviously, like he's not Hamilton. We don't know exactly what
right,
happened, but I just love how he took that opportunity and was able to make it our story.
right.
And so I just found it so great.
Yeah. By the way, my favorite thing about that whole thing was like I don't know if you saw it on Disney Plus. We got to see it. Me and my wife went to go see it live, and it was just mind blowing. And then boom, we saw it on Disney Live,
Y'all
and it
got
just makes me.
money. You got money, huh?
No,
That shit
listen,
was
hold on.
expensive, yo.
But this is the thing that makes me laugh about the whole thing is when you watch it, right? George Washington, like all of them are of color, like and no one complained. But do you remember like a year ago when they did the Little Mermaid and they were like, "Oh, the Little Mermaid's gonna be black"? How
Yeah,
Ariel gonna be black? Like it just
right,
made me laugh that people got so butthurt over a fictional character. How's she
right.
gonna be of color? But like with George Washington, like they were fine with it. Like yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah,
Right.
Washington, George Washington, he could be black. He could like
But not Little Mermaid. She got to
Little
be
Mermaid. How dare you? The Little Mermaid?
a yeah. That's one of those things that are like, huh, I'm confused. What are we
Yeah.
fighting about? What are we arguing about here?
Before we bring our guest in, I do want to talk about this real quick because last week you brought us an article
Yes.
that said that us men, we are running out of swimmers. We're running out of the sperms.
Yeah.
Hold
And
on,
that's
that's an ad right there. We are running out of the baby making juice, if you
yeah.
will,
You guys know more.
right?
Mhm.
No more. I don't know how we're gonna reproduce. We're done.
I'm telling you, by 2050, there's not going to be any such thing as sperm.
Okay. Now I found this other article, and now I'm starting to think it's a conspiracy against all men. And I texted it to you because I was like, now Sasha got me worried. She got
Yeah.
me worried about everything that is happening to men. So here was this article I found. The peni, is that the
Yes.
correct science? The peni are shrinking because of pollution.
Yep.
So not only are we running out of sperm, but now we are losing length.
hmm
And
That's
what upsets me most is, and I don't want this to be anti-feminine, but nothing's happening to the women. How come, men?
because these are all man-made stuff, so it's affecting men. If it was women-made stuff, then it would probably affect women. You know what I mean?
Look at that. Rich says we gotta save the earth. Like if this doesn't make men want to go plant trees and recycle and say, men, our peni are suffering.
I'm serious. Like people like. It's funny because I was literally thinking about this. I was like, yo, maybe this will help people in corporations kind of be like, oh, this is gonna make penises smaller. Like maybe we should try to like tone down the pollution a little bit. But yeah.
By the way, I like that like the comic in me, like I feel bad for men out there. Like when a girl does see it, like, oh, so you pollute. Like she's gonna start blaming penis size on stuff. Like, oh, you don't recycle. Look at this.
Look at that.
Yeah. Men, let's start saving the earth. Let's start recycling.
Save your penis from getting smaller.
Like if that, I don't understand how that's not a movement right now. Save the earth, save a penis. Like that should be a bumper sticker.
You know what? That should be like I haven't seen men do a movement or like do stand up for anything. Maybe they should stand up for their penises right now because it's in danger.
See, Claudia says I got to start saving my sperms and I could sell it.
Right.
I think I'm not gonna lie. I think people of color should start saving because we want to repopulate the earth and make it diverse. So start saving the earth and start saving the sperms.
We have to because we can't be living like this. We really can't. It's really insane.
Yeah. So let's get our show started now that we got men saving the earth.
Reduce, reuse, recycle equals save a penis.
If that's not a bumper sticker, somebody make this bumper sticker happen. We've got a great show. We've got one of my favorite guests. This is our first time on the show, but like I'm talking about, like I know her from stand up, and she's so dope. She was on your show, like Shit Dímelo.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. You guys know her from. She's got her own album out right now on Spotify, which we'll talk about. She's been on Two Dope Queens on HBO. Give it up for Marcella Arguello.
Good.
Okay, first of all, I'm really upset you didn't bring me in for this dick talk. Like,
let's talk about it.
I mean, you know what I'm looking forward to when I see a man later. I'm gonna go. That's why your dick's small,
right?
And second of all, I was thinking throughout the interview, I'm gonna like sing, so just to annoy Eric because he says he doesn't really like musical. But like Black Ariel, she's gonna be like, I wanna be where the brothers are. I wanna see their big dicks.
I just can't get on board with musicals, the concept, because it's just.
I know they're hella corny. I know, I agree. They're good for kids, like good for kids, and then as adult. I mean, what you guys it was interesting listening to you guys talk about Hamilton because it was like They didn't pitch that. They had to make that. Nobody wanted to fund that shit. They had to make that shit, and they had to like be like, you know, the white people were like, oh my god, George Washington Carver was not white. It was, I mean, it really just blew my mind. I could not wrap my head around it for the first 15 minutes, but then as I got into it, I was like, why not? You know, why couldn't he be black? Why couldn't he be Latino? You know, maybe he's Asian for the next one. You know, it just like my mind is so limited.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that's one of those things that, you know, you kind of have to be like, all right, bitch, like I'm gonna have to show you because
you have to. Yeah, you have to show them.
It's yeah.
Oh, and thank you for the laugh emoji. I need it. I need that laugh emoji.
I know. Have you been on stage lately?
You know, I was in Colorado a couple weeks ago for my first headlining set. My first time being like a headliner in over a year. I had done some sets with Felipe Esparza in the fall, but you know, featuring is not 15-minute spots are not, you know, being on stage for 45 to an hour, you know, like it is so different. So it was hella fun, and I really enjoyed it. It was nice.
Man. Yeah, I did a 10-minute spot at the Laugh Factory the other night, and those 10-15s are beautiful. You just boom, 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 and then I did a 45 at Brea, and that was work because I was like, all right,
it's work.
You got to remember, like, how do I go from here to there? What's the?
See, I'm using notes right now. I'm like, I'm a headliner. I'm using notes. I don't give a fuck because I don't want to. I'm just trying to remember how to perform these jokes. Like, I need to like just say these things. You know, like, ooh, it's a little scary.
It is a little scary. It is tough, but you know, once you're on stage and you realize like, yo, this is what I love to do. Because for me, it's like I'll be so afraid, but then when I go on stage, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm in this car crash. Like, what's worse? You know, you're not gonna laugh, so what? I'm stressed out, and I need to get this out as however I can. You know, so it's one of those things for sure.
Now, did you do during the pandemic? Did you do any of the drive-in shows with cars honking and flashing at you?
I did Felipe in the fall. I did a club with him in Salt Lake City, Wise Guys, and that gave me a lot of stress to be in the room with people, you know. And so I was like, okay, I'm not doing this for a very long time. And then the following weekend we did drive-in shows, and I just wanted to do it just to do it because I was like, I'm never gonna once the pandemic is done, drive-in shows that's gone. That's gonna be gone. And so I wanted to do them, and they fucking suck. They suck, man. They are the worst. You're just like, it was hella funny though, because I'm so used to being catcalled with guys honking at me. Like if I got a honk, I was like, oh, what? You know,
the audience is like, why she stop talking? Why she posing?
Right.
Like, oh, you put me on that side.
You found me attractive.
I kept doing that.
I could only imagine, but you know what? It's like, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was just like, yo, once everyone can actually go outside, I have a feeling that it's going to be a madhouse. Like everyone at the same time is just going to be like, where the fucking fun is? I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Like all those people that I was like, I'm, you know, hoping that the plans were canceled. If they hit me up to party or hang out, I'm going to just show up.
Yeah.
I'm going to just be like, okay, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. It's
nothing's too boring anymore. I
was just thinking about all the lame ass worthless dudes that are about to get laid in the summer because the bitches are just, we're thirsty. I'm thirsty. We're up here.
You think so? So do you think we're gonna see a spike in just people just randomly hooking up, like people that you wouldn't normally hook up with? Like, you know what? It's been too long. I got
a spike in raw sex. That's for sure with some ugly motherfuckers. Like that's it. That's it. That's what it's gonna be. This summer's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be sweaty. It's gonna be smelly. It's gonna be sticky. Ugh.
Do you feel like during the pandemic, do you feel like you found a different version of yourself and you're like, oh yeah, like this is me. This is who I'm supposed to be?
It's not even a different version, more just like a happier version, because I needed a break from people. Like, I mean, Eric knows me pretty well. I can be a fucking bitch when I just am. Like if someone, like I hate touching people. I hated in comedy, you know, Like you go to these shows, like the show is being on stage is the funnest part. The fucking awful shit is like showing up. You see some fucking asshole you don't like. You see somebody who's trying to kiss your ass. Over here, there's like some veteran who's mad that you're not kissing their ass. Like all the dynamics of being in a comedy club setting. I needed a fucking break from that shit. I was like, this shit is too annoying. Like, I don't want to hug you, dog. Like, we don't know each other that well. You see some comic you fucked that was a dickhead to you, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to see him right now.
Right.
It's such an unnatural life, and you do it every night. And it's like, I needed a break from that, you know? Because, like, it's been nice being like, oh, yeah, like, my friends who don't do comedy, I get to spend time, like, real time with some of these people. Yeah, it's social distance. We have masks on, but, like, I haven't like regularly hung out with certain people in a long time because at nighttime would be when they're free and I got to go do some shit. And then on the weekends, I was working the road, so I couldn't hang out with them on the weekends. And it's just like, oh yeah, like I'm back to, I feel like I'm reset, you know?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel like for me, I'm like, oh, I'm a new Zen version of myself. Like I'm just Zen. Like I don't really need anyone. But as soon as like the world is opened up and my friends got vaccinated, I'm hanging out with them. I've been drunk like every other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, I'm like, yo, am I becoming like a fucking alcoholic right now? Because if not, then I'm gonna have to be stuck in the house again. Because
yeah. But it's good to know that we could use those breaks, you know? Like we need those breaks. I mean, I've always been a fan of taking a break, but I didn't realize like how much of a break I really needed, you know?
Yeah.
I think with this lifestyle, we've always been go, and it's been nice to like get that break and like, oh, this is what life is. You get to live life and do stuff.
Maybe we could start adopting it and make it like a yearly siesta. You know what I mean? Like 1 year you're on, next year
every other year.
Siesta, you know what I mean?
Every other year, 500,000 people will die, and I get to sleep. No. Cool. Sounds good.
Oh my god, that's so funny because I'm like the other day. A lot of us that didn't get affected, we didn't realize like, okay, like a lot of people, we heard of it, but it's like a lot of people's lives are gone, you know, like they're not here. A lot of people died. And you have people complaining about like the stupidest shit, like, oh my God, I don't have this, I don't have that. But it's like, yo, you alive. So
you alive.
Be happy and be grateful that you're alive.
I know.
For sure. And like I got the vaccine and I just been getting
bitch, you out every other night getting shit faced. You better have the vaccine.
Well, good. You know, I got the vaccine and I just get people like, oh, you know, well, you don't know what's in it. You're being irresponsible. Like if I talk about it on my social media, people are telling me that I'm being irresponsible because I'm like, yo, I'm just telling people what I'm doing. Yeah. And it's always like these conspiracy theories that are like, yo, the government is out to get us. The government's out to get us. Well, you know what? If I get vaccinated and I'm no more and the government's out to get us, why would I want to live in a world that's going to be, the government is going to destroy? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
that's what happens when you have a lot of followers because they like are go, oh, her titties. I'm going to follow her because of her titties. And then they follow you and then they hear how smart you are. And they're just like, this big titty bitch, she talks too much. The vaccine bitch. That's what happens. When you're not trusted, you don't get those knuckleheads, you know?
Yo, man.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I would argue, but like I'm not getting the vaccine because there's so much to live for. But penises are shrinking, and I'm losing sperm.
What?
Hit me with all the vaccines. Hit me with all of them.
Right, exactly. Like, what the fuck? You like people are just complaining about what the future is gonna be like. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna be like this," and "Oh, we want to be like that." We're gonna. So then, if you get vaccinated and you die, what's the problem? You're the lucky one. You left early. What's good? Like,
early. I always think about that because my dad passed away when he was 65, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's so young." And now I'm like, you know what? That's a perfect age to get the fuck out of here. You still got kick in your life, you know, kicking in your step. You're walking around, everything's all good, and then people are hella sad that you're gone. And you're just like, I'm gone.
Yo,
it's so funny you say. I've been having this conversation, and my wife thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, yo, around 75 is a good age to bounce because you still got it, and you're still strong and doing stuff. Yes. This is before the decline. Like once you. Like 85, or like no one looks at anybody like in their 90s like, oh my God, how old are you? No, 90? Yeah, 90. You're doing this a lot? You're doing that thing?
honey, I need you to take my poop out of my butt. Like,
yeah, no one. Like, I don't want to get to 90. I've never looked at anybody 90 and be like, yo.
You know what?
Amazing.
My grandma, you know, she was. I mean, she was in El Salvador her whole life, and she would visit us every like year for a few months. Like once while I was a teenager, that bitch got to 94. Fuck the Zika virus. Zika got her, but she got to 94 healthy as fuck. And I was like, I mean, I guess if I was that healthy, but it's like she was healthy her whole life, and I'm like, I don't want to be healthy my whole life just to be 94. You know, like.
When I went to go visit my grandmother in Dominican Republic, she's like 89 years old, and I was holding her arm, and there's wrinkles all over her arm, and I'm like, you're the oldest human I know.
Yeah.
I was like fascinated with her. I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this is where we're heading? Like, I'm gonna get this old? Like, what?
You were just high touching your grandma's skin.
That's what it felt like.
Granny, abuelita, mira la piel. Tantas transparente. No puedo creer.
That
was you. That was you.
That was definitely me.
See, Orlando says 65 is a good time to piece out too. Yeah, the other thing that also bugs me is like when people in their 90s and hundreds, like close to 100 pass away. It's always, oh, it's too soon. I was like, that dude outlived.
I never say that. I'm like, they lived a long life. They're good.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I remember I saw this. I remember I went to the emergency room for like my best friend's grandmother or whatever, and there was this lady that she was like 100 years old, and she had muscles because she worked out, and she was like but I'm like, bitch, you're still 100 because it was like muscle, but then the sag just like, right there, like, you know.
All right, this is where we're finding out that Sasha was just touching random old people. Let me see.
I wasn't touching her. She was close to me. And she was like, ask me how old I am. And I was like, 1,000, bitch? I don't know, but I didn't want to be rude. So I said, 70? She was like, no, that's my daughter right there. And my daughter is like, also old as fuck, fucking 70-year-old. I'm like, wow, like, that's a lot.
Wise and shit. Claudia says she's going to be all wise and shit. But see, being wise is overrated. I'm like, I just die dumb. Just chilling.
Yeah, I think that's all done. Like, I think back in the day when somebody was old, they're like, oh, they wise, they know knowledge. Now everybody got smartphones with Google. Like, kids don't look at old people.
No,
they're not like, granddaddy, tell me, give me your knowledge. They're just like, I got Siri. What's up, Siri? Knowledge. Like, that's it. Like,
I mean, this old person says some shit I don't believe. Correct him. Look
yeah.
Right.
Siri does not agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And before, you used to be like, I smack the shit out of you. Like, you're afraid to get hit. And now you're just like, hit me.
Now you're like, I'm going to put it on TikTok if you hit me. I'm going to put it on TikTok and go viral if you hit me. Hit me then.
Right. Exactly.
You do a TikTok dance to avoid getting hit.
So during the pandemic, have you joined all the social media? Have you done the TikToks? Have you done the Clubhouse?
You know what's funny? I did join TikTok like in November or something like that, and then I forgot about it. I got all depressed in the early part of 2021, and I just like I completely forgot about it because I was like new around there, so it wasn't like, you know, like when you're on social media for a long time, you get into like, this is part of my day, this is part of my routine.
Yeah,
I completely forgot, and like literally this week I was like, oh fuck, I'm on TikTok. I should fucking be making videos now that I'm feeling good. But,
right.
I mean, I deleted my Facebook in the summer. That was nice. It was like, I was done with Facebook.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those things, right? Being a comedian, because right now I feel like I'm having that moment where I'm just like going through like these down moments where I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do nothing. But then it's like those moments that we hit and we got that energy as comedians, we are shining bright and nobody fuck with us. We'll be like, we've been through the trenches.
Yeah.
We've been through it all. This whole, you know, like I feel like we are very sensitive and we feel things so much more than other people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Now, Sasha's tail, if you don't follow her on social media, when she is feeling that energy in her video, she is standing and she is sitting. What's up, y'all? And she's doing.
Yeah.
When she is down, this is when I call Sasha. When I see her laying down, What's up, everybody? Wow. I got something to talk. I'm like, oh boy, I gotta call Sasha. You all right? She's like,
Yes,
why
me.
you say that?
They're all wrapped in an oversized shirt, no jewelry, no makeup, just a strong filter. So super strong extra filter.
Hell yeah.
No.
That's how you know, like, I am not feeling the world today. But it's interesting, like, even talking about aging and like getting that old, like, how do you deal with all of that? Like, I ask my parents all the time, like, how you dealt with the ups and downs. And my aunt, she's 66 and she beat cancer, and she ended up beating COVID as well.
Wow. What a show off.
What a fucking right. And I'm like, how do you do it? She's like, I just say I'm strong. And I'm like, okay. Like that helps you. I say, this is because she has like these little arms now, like when older people get older, they just have like a certain amount of movement, right? So she's like,
something about you and old people's arms. I don't know what's going on with you.
I've noticed it, like I say I'm strong like this. And that's how you know they're strong, because they got their little old arms.
The little Popeye arms.
Yeah. I can't wait to age gracefully. But I don't know. I was thinking about 65 being the age that I kicked the bucket, but I would say 90. I would like to kick the bucket.
You want to go 90?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, okay. So you're young. You haven't had the rough part of your 30s where you're like, 65 is the sweet spot. You're still getting out of your 20s like, I'm so youthful and I've lived. Nothing phases me.
You know what it is? It's not that. It's my parents, right? They are, till this day, going out, going to bars, living a youthful life. And I feel like they, at 60, were able to live the life that they always wanted to live. At 60. So I'm like, at least give me like 10 years of that, 70 maybe, okay, while bargaining with God, Jesus, or the universe. And be like, all right, 70, we might be looking at something here. I
love that you're like, my parents are party animals, and I'm going to be a party animal when I'm sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right. My parents, they will call me all the time, like, where you at? We're like, at the bar. So like, I introduced them to my boyfriend during the pandemic. And when she got the COVID, she was just like, the COVID, oh my God, I sound like her. The COVID. When she ended up getting COVID, she was just like, I have no idea how I got it. I have no idea. I was like, did you go to the monkey bar room? And she was like, yes, I always go there, but we have like our own section and no one really bothers us. I'm like, you was at the bar, bitch. Yeah. Like, hello.
That's hella funny.
Yeah. And so like, when I introduced him to my boyfriend, because my boyfriend is like super like healthy, like doesn't drink alcohol, they were giving him so many drinks and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna think we're alcoholics, kind of. Yeah, whatever.
I love that. That's the thing you're scared of. Like, oh my God, my boyfriend's gonna see the drinking. You get on stage and you talk about your family. If that didn't scare him off, that's other stuff.
I want to tell you, my family is 10 times worse than what I say on stage.
Yeah, that's always the case, right?
Like they're worse like than that. It's crazy because it's like, so my aunt is explaining to him like, because I talk about like how I grew up with a lot of boys, but they were actual gangsters. They were in the streets selling drugs like gangsters, right? So for so long, I felt like my aunt was always like not acknowledging that part of our life. Like, This is like, motherfuckers is in the streets. And then when she was talking to him, I was like, yeah, we grew up in a very tough part in the Bronx where people were getting killed. Like if I'm watching The Little Mermaid, I'm watching Disney or reading Harry Potter books, I'm hearing a couple of people getting shot in the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how traumatic it was growing up. And so when she was talking to him, I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, so you guys were always safe? She's like, yes, because my son was against us. And I'm like, yeah, that's the fact. So I try not to really talk about it on stage because, whatever, but
we don't want to put it
scary.
I was gonna say you're gonna be a liability to the family if you start putting everybody's business out there.
Right. So that's how I was like, oh my God, what is he gonna think? But whatever.
He didn't give a fuck.
He did not give a fuck.
Pussy too good, girl. Pussy too good. If the pussy too good, they don't give a fuck for none of that shit.
When it's just right, it's like, all right, I can let it go.
Yeah, like, he's all right. Her family's kind of crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I want to switch gears real quick. I know Marcella, you got a comedy album out right now on Spotify called The Woke Bully.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
People watching, if you haven't already, go stream it. She is super hilarious. I want to talk to you because you're. This is the thing that I love about you on stage. You're very unfiltered and you don't hold back punches.
Everywhere, bro. Not even on stage. You heard this interview.
And I feel like during this pandemic, during this lockdown, it gave people way too much time on their hands to go find stuff to try to camp people and get more woke. Is that at all a fear of yours once things open back up and you get back on stage that people are going to be coming for you? Because you do this thing on Twitter. By the way, can I say you're my favorite person to follow on Twitter because she'll go in, like she'll double down. Like Marcel puts up a tweet. Oh, you're offended? Well, I'm a double down. She doesn't retract it, doesn't delete it. She doubles and triples down.
You know why? Because before I tweet anything, any thought, I make sure the wording is exactly how I want it to be, that there's no underlying implications, because I also know, I mean, I've been doing comedy for 15 years. I know all the fucking reactions I'm going to get. I know. Humans are predictable as fuck. So you can calculate exactly what people are going to say and how they're going to think. And you just have to go, do I want to put up with this? Do I not want to put up with this? Like, what's the reaction? How am I going to deal with it? Because like even right now, I fucking tweeted something like what I just said earlier, all the worthless idiots are going to be getting, laid this summer, And so I had some chick, of course, like, girl, get a Hitachi. I'm over cis hetero men. I'm like, bitch, dick cannot be replaced. Like, if you take a dick and you like taking dick, you're going to want dick. I don't care how fucking fancy and like duplicated you've made the dildo, the vibrator, like a dick is a fucking dick, okay? And that's what I said, and she was like, you got me there! And I was like, oh my God, you dumb bitch. What the fuck? Why would you? Anyways, but I was expecting that. But like, to answer your question, look, I have a history of saying all the words and using all the language and all the thoughts. Every slur, I've used it. And so I've just kind of like come to terms with the fact that, okay, at some point this shit's going to come out. Like there's shit on video that I wish wasn't out there, but it's out there. So I've just like accepted and I'm at peace with it myself. But I'm also like, a lot of people know me. They know my heart. They know my intentions. A lot of the times, like I just talk crazy, but like I will always look out for people. I always got people's backs. Like I even talk about it in the album. There was a situation with some gay dudes and some trans women. They got into a brawl. The cops show up. This is like the abridged version of the story. And nobody was telling these trans women to get the fuck out of there. And I fucking go right up to one of these bitches and I go, get the fuck out of here. These cops are going to fuck you literally and figuratively. You need to get the fuck out. This is not safe for you. And like they fucking took off. And nobody around was trying to look out for them. Everybody was just like staring at this spectacle. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I fucking put my money where my mouth is, for real, for real. Like, I got people's backs, like, for real. And so, like, if people want to not like me because whatever, I used to use the N-word or because I used to, use homophobic slurs or transphobic slurs, like, I can't control people's reacting to my dumb stuff I used to do. And if they don't want to be a fan of mine, that's all good. Like, no love lost on my end, like, people that know me know as a person, I've evolved, that I've changed, I've progressed. I mean, I was a little homophobic child, like a motherfucker. Like I was the bully of some of these kids, like, but I've changed. And like, I like to think of it as like, I'm proof that people can change from their dumb ass shit. Because sometimes it's just people's language. They just use dumb language. But we all know, especially Sasha, you from the hood, you from the cut, like, that a lot of the men in your life, they use language and shit that you don't agree with. But when it comes down to some shit, they got your back. They got your mom's back. They got your family's back. Yeah. Like it's not about that. It's very actions speak louder than words type shit. But
it was, definitely. It is one of those things, because even like the F word for like gay people that, we used to use a lot in the hood. We never used that for someone that was gay. You know what I'm saying? It was never like, because, we knew someone that his name was Steven. He was from the block and he was gay, and we all loved him. We all had his back and all that stuff. We never used the N-word. I mean, not the N-word, the F word for him. It would only be probably a heterosexual person who did some like crazy shit that you're like, oh, I can't even deal with you as a person. So if anybody probably would have picked on Steven, we probably would have called that person the F word and be like, yo, what's up?
I mean, that gets tricky, Sasha. You don't want to be saying that shit because people are gonna.
No, I don't say it at all.
No, like, but I'm saying like defending it that way. Like
yeah,
I get what you're trying to say, but if
that's not what I'm saying anymore. But
if you ever no, but not that. I'm saying the defend, like what you're how you're explaining the usage of it. Don't ever say that shit in front of white people because they will twist your concepts of how you're using it because they're like, well, that perpetuates toxic masculinity within the cis heteros, and then you're
right.
Girl, that's not what I'm trying to say. You don't know my life. Like that's the problem. Is like you just have to be like, yes, I used to use it and now I don't. Period. Like that's it.
That's you know that's the fact because it's like I grew up in the hood, so like we all are talking about this right now. Like, I grew up in the hood, and there's certain things I was like, I'm never gonna say that because I'm an educated person, and I just know, I'm never gonna say that again, right? And luckily, I'm one of those people that was able to get out and see it from a bigger aspect and be like, oh, like I just can't even say it. Like I can't say any of these racial slurs. Like I can't say it. At the time,
you want to say it though. You want to say it though.
Nah, I don't even. I don't. I don't. But it's just one of those things where it's just like it's easily, like you said, for people to judge you for it and just be like, oh, well, you shouldn't say this, that, and the third. I'm like, I literally grew up in a place where I thought that this was right, and now I'm realizing that this is wrong. Right. Give me a moment to like freaking grow and like really process everything and just be like, oh, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that's the problem I have with people. Yeah, that's the problem I have with people who are like, you know, abolish the prison system, which I fully support. But they like the whole concept of abolishing the prison system and abolishing the police is that rehabilitation is going to replace it, and we're going to allow for programs to come in and help people and all that shit. And it's like, how do people who are so like get the concept of abolishing the prison system don't understand the concept of forgiving people in your lives, like, and forgiving people for making stupid ass mistakes. Like, it's like, so you're telling me you want to abolish the prison system, you want murderers to get off, but you're gonna cancel me because I used to use the N-word. Like, this shit don't add up for a lot of these people, a lot of these liberals, you know. So like,
I know what it is. It's power.
100%.
In their way. They're like, oh, you should have known better. You should have fucking known better. So now they're now more superior than you.
Oh, 100%.
And if they forgive you, they don't have that power anymore over you. So that's why, you know, they want to keep perpetuating all of this stuff like, oh, like you said this and you should never be forgiving. What you're doing is now you're perpetuating another form of suppressing people who just don't know, who just didn't know better. Like,
not just don't know, but to your point, allowing people the space to grow. Like, if you kind of like blunt that, it's just like, Eric, you got kids, you know that if you react a certain way to a mistake that they make, it fucks with their head. You know, it's traumatic, that experience. But if you react to them in a kinder, more understanding, more empathetic parenting type of way, like they'll be like, oh, okay, that mistake is not that big of a deal. Like, okay, let me fucking just move on and listen to what dad says or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I truly believe it's all about like, you know, we're all evolving as people. Like everything that's happening now, like you guys are saying, like we didn't grow up with it. So now we're learning on the fly, but it's so funny how people are ready to crucify you if you don't get the thought process and you're like, hold on, I didn't grow up that way. I'm processing it. And I'm curious as to like how far is too far for these people to go back to that catalog. Like there's always the rumor that Eddie Murphy might come back to do stand-up, right? What's going to happen when these people look back at his comedy, Raw and Delirious? Like
he's already, if you listen to him on Mark Maron's podcast, he actually talked about how he's actually already apologized for all that shit. He's actually done the work. He's done the work that a lot of comics refuse. That's the other thing. Like that's where it gets tricky for a lot of people is some of these older comics refuse to, I'll never apologize for what I did. That was my art. And it's just like, it's not that hard to be like, yeah, my bad now, but this is me now, you know, like, shout out to J-Lo. This is me now. But Eddie did that. He apologized for that shit. He talks about it openly. And I think that I wish that we would talk about that more, like the beauty of someone of his age, someone of his status, like going, I don't talk like that anymore. Am I bad for talking like that in the past, you know?
The interesting thing too is like how we talk about ourselves within the community is very important as well. And I learned this when I was filming something, and there was like these white PAs and stuff like that, and the girl said something about like Dominicans, like some girl who is actually Dominican said something about Dominicans, and then said that to a white person. And then the white person looks at me. He's like, yeah, because like, oh, all Dominican. She said something about Dominicans being fucking dumb or some shit like that. And the white guy repeated the same shit to me. And I was just like, you have to be like, it wasn't okay, because it's like, yeah, okay, I understand that internally we have issues within our own community. But don't fucking go and tell a white person that, because what they do is, like you said earlier, they'll take the ammunition and you're like, well, Dominicans think that Dominicans are stupid.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What kind of shit is that either? Like you don't perpetuate that. You don't do that. You're not helping us. Like everyone in every nationality and every culture, you know, as a person, there's just different types of people. You cannot just be like, oh, you can't say that. It was just one of those things where I'm like, you know what? I have to be very cautious about how I represent my people in front of people that aren't from my culture.
Yeah.
Because that could be so dangerous. People do use that against you. And sometimes, you know, in social media, when I first started doing certain rants and certain sketches, like they were appropriate for the time because it's like how I felt or what I've seen in my community. So I'm speaking my truth. But now that I know better, I'm not saying those same jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say those same jokes, and it's just part of growth and part of knowing certain things. Even though it's like if I go back to the Bronx and and see my old friends, they probably still have the same mentality. They probably still using the same racial slurs and stuff like that. But it's just like that's why I can't grow with y'all. I gotta go.
By the way, I could tell that moment still bothers you because you were ready to slow down right then and there.
Yeah.
Like as you explained, and then he said this, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's still.
Well, it sucks because you're on set, so you have to really watch yourself. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Not me though. I would have went crazy.
Yeah, because they'll take that snippet and be like, oh, look at Sasha being a diva, and it's like, no, hold on, you didn't catch that first part.
That's the industry. That's been my issue. It's like I fucking will stick up for some shit on the spot on the fly, and then you know the shit bites me in the ass because somebody's like, she's difficult to work with.
So now you started comedy here in LA, Marcella, or?
I mean, I started in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I started comedy in San Francisco, and then I moved down to LA. But you know, I do regret not ever going to New York. There's obviously always time to go to New York, but like, I wish I would have gone to New York when I was younger, because like people's association with LA comedians, they really act like comedy only exists in New York, like, which is hilarious to me because I'm like, so many New York comics aren't from New York. Like hella New York comics just took over the area, and which is fine. But like it's really funny to me how people look down on LA comedians, which is now kind of like I'm like staying in LA out of spite. Like, no, fuck you. I'm a great comic. Great comics are in Los Angeles too, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. But people think I'm from New York, which is great.
Yeah, I thought you were from New York. I thought you were like even if you weren't from New York, you were in New York for like 10 years, 15 years. And yeah, your whole vibe is, you would have fit in so.
I know. You know
like,
what?
The thing is that you probably would have been in New York and you'd be like, I don't want to be any fucking where else. Like,
well, and that's the thing is when I first time I went to New York, because you know in California, people don't know. They just think that like for the longest time, people thought, oh, she's white or she's black. Like people had no clue what my background mix was. But when I went, like, no one talks to me in Spanish when I walk into a store in California anywhere. Like, people this white woman is in here. Or they're like, you know, black people are like, oh, she got rhythm. Oh, the way she talks is something spicy. So she's one of us, right? But in New York, the first time I went in New York, I was walking down the street and hella people talking, like, walking to a store, a bodega, whatever. Everybody talks to me in Spanish because they're like, it's right. You see that? That's not anything but us. And I love it. I also just like love seeing girls with like lighter skin and big curly hair. Like you don't see that in California. It's more recently, but when I was growing up, every girl with curly hair, straighten that shit, straighten it. But I never did.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk to people in Spanish here, which I'm pretty sure is going to change soon, they're like, "Oh my god, like, where are you from?" Obviously, I always talk about this. So the other day, I went to go check my 2 molars to get them removed, and I guess the guy is, I think, he was either Guatemalan and he was like living here his whole life, but he was like, "Oh, how did you learn how to speak Spanish?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Dominican." And there's this machine that you have to like put on this like vest, and then it's like gonna do the x-ray for your mouth and shit. When he was setting me up, he literally went like this to my hair. Wow, I like it. Me encanta tu pelo, me encanta tu cabello. And I was like, because I literally have to have some shit in my mouth. I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In my culture, that means you guys are married now, by the way. I've had Guatemalan, just so you know. Sasha, he owns you now.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, what the? And I told my boyfriend that. I'm like, wow. And I feel like this is just a theory. It's not like whatever. But, you know, white people already know, okay, you cannot touch a black person's hair. So a white person wouldn't even touch my hair. But I guess because they're not used to seeing black people that speak Spanish, they're fascinated. They never got the memo. Like, don't fucking touch my hair.
They didn't. They didn't do the infogram in Spanish. It was always in English. So
so they're like, oh, this is appropriate. It's not. And so I was just at my cousin's house and we were like playing music and stuff like that. And we also kind of realized that in the Latin world, things are not so black and white, right? So it's like, there's a lot of things that we've experienced that if we tell somebody who's black or if we tell somebody who's white, they're just like, huh? I don't get it. I remember the song from Willie Colon, El Gran Varón, right? Where he talks about the son being a transgendered man and like, you know, that whole experience. And so there's like this white guy who lived right next door to my cousin, and we're explaining the story to him, like as the salsa is going, like, and we're like, yeah, gran varón, you know, and we're like, yeah, and then he showed up, and now he's a woman, and now he died because of AIDS. The guy started crying. He was just crying. He started crying. You guys were talking about this a long time ago. I'm like, yeah. It's so
there's nothing worse than trying to translate a salsa song for somebody that doesn't speak Spanish. I do it all the time with my wife, and she's like, "What's this song saying?" And you start breaking it down. She's like, "But why is it so happy? It's so sad."
Right?
The girl left him. Yeah, left him. Broke his heart. Took everything.
That's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she died.
And then she died right after the ball. Broken heart. Boom, boom, boom. Bro,
also, Nora Dinamita has a song like that. What is it? That oye capullo, no quiero igual a los angelitos. And then basically the song is like, this bitch has like hella kids, and the dude is like, oh, like what something? I want all the kids the same, but then she's like, but yours is the black one. And then like that's the song. And I remember like, you know, when I was a kid out here, the song, I was like, whatever. El negro es el único tuyo. And I was just like saying it, not knowing.
Yeah.
I got older and I was just like, wait, what is this song about? And I was talking to my mom about it and I was like, that's fucked up. Like, but you don't realize it. It's like just anti-black shit. But of course it is. That's fucking the Latino universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all those songs are out there and they're all fucking weird.
Yep. It's fucking crazy. And we were like dancing, we're like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Yo, so crazy.
You don't like black people. What? Hold on. What? Why are we dancing to this?
Wait, what? No.
Yeah, the black one's yours. Funny? Yeah.
There's a that salsa song that's Colombian. It's like no le pegue la negra, no le pegue la negra. That song is about like slavery and don't hit the black woman, right? So we're explaining to the man, like this white guy, and we're like, you know how Latino people, when we like something, we're like, yeah, you're gonna love it. We're like in your face, and we're singing to him, we're like, no le pegue la negra, and he's white. He's like, well, I didn't hit no one. I didn't. He's like, I didn't.
I've got black friends, please.
Right, exactly. I'm like, wow, the Latin culture.
Yeah,
it's so complex.
It's very complex. Before we get out of here, Marcella, what are you excited about once all this opens up? Are you like? I know you're talking about going to Salt Lake, but being inside, are you?
Dick. I'm most excited for Dick. I was just texting one of my dicks this morning, like, when are you vaccinated? When are you coming to California? I'm gonna be out there through you. Well, that's where I was at this morning. I was like, I'm in a good mood thinking about that Dick.
Well, tell him to not pollute and to recycle.
I thought you were saying not to pull out. I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna tell him what to do with his semen.
He might be out because apparently we were running out.
Yeah,
we're definitely not out. I'll tell you that right now.
but as far as comedy, are you running to go to clubs? Or are you still doing outdoor shows?
I'm kind of like it's right now. It's like well, now I'm fully vaccinated, so I'm definitely more open to like travel. Because I think before I was like, I'm not getting on a plane until I am vaccinated, and so I'm excited to travel. Like traveling, I mean, you know, there's no beating having a hotel room for the weekend, just like ordering food, eating in that bed, and going to perform, and getting all cute, and then going to perform, and then like if you got homies in that town, it's so fun. You got like fans there that want to come see you and take a picture. Like I don't know if I'll be doing meet and greets or whatever, but I am just excited to like get on the road a little more. I'm also just excited to like have my people I do know come to the shows, like all that shit. It's like never took it for granted, but man, I can't wait to have it again, you know?
Yeah.
Is there any pandemic purchases you made that you're excited to show off? Because I feel like that's going to be a lot of comments. Like, yo, look at these pants. Got them during pandemic. Look at this shirt.
Look, I have this handy, my facial toning device. It like tones my face. And like my wrinkles are leaving, and I'm just like, I'm about to be younger than when I went into this pandemic, man.
That's right.
That's what I'm ready to show off. Yeah, I mean, I just buy a bunch of new clothes and shoes and stuff, you know, word to unemployment. But yeah, no, I mean, you know.
All right. Well, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
You can find me at Marcella Comedy. That is my socials on everything. And oh, you know what? July 31st, I will be in New York. I mean, that's a very far away, but like now my gigs are all being spaced out. So I will be in New York in July. So bitch, we gonna get litty. Oh shit, you should do the show. You should be on the show.
I will be down to be.
If you would be cool with to open, like come open for me. That would be hella fun.
I'm down.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I'm in California. I live in California.
That's right. I forget. I fucking forget.
But I will take a flight over there.
Oh yeah, come out July 31st. I'm at the Bell House. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Ooh, that'll be hell.
Yeah, because I'm already. I know that right now improv is opening up for like open mic and stuff. So I'm gonna just like get my open mic.
Yeah. I'm excited. Yeah, so yeah, my socials at Marcella Comedy everywhere. I'm on Twitter talking a lot of shit about dicks right now. Actually, positively talking about dicks. That's all. Thank you for having me. This was cool.
Yeah, guys, go follow Marcella. Super funny. If you're in New York, July 31st, go get tickets. And like I've said before, like now that things are starting to open up, the way you can help comedians is follow us, like our stuff, share it, get the word out about us because we're about to hit the road again. We want to see you guys and we want to see new people. So help us out.
That's a fucking word right there. Thank you. That's so right.
Sasha. What do you got?
You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, Sasha Merci. On TikTok is Sasha.Merci. You're going to find me just Sasha Merci.
And she got a movie out right now on HBO Max.
Yes. HBO. Streaming still on HBO. Pitch me.
Go check that out. And then you guys follow me at Erik Rivera Comedy. I've got my half-hour streaming right now on HBO Max called Super White. Marcella, thanks so much for doing this. You're one of my favorites.
I love you, Eric, because you've been married long enough that you know when to let the bitches just talk. You're like, just let these bitches talk. I know that wife is happy. That's a happy wife.
Yep.
Yeah, I never get when a conversation's happening. White guys like, where y'all? I'm like, oh no, no, pull back. You can get hit. Don't do it. Don't do it. I watch young guys do it all the time. They told me off. I'm like, yup.
You know, that's a married man right there.
Right.
I need to find me one to use.
Right.
Well, thanks again for being on. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week.